Hi, this is Dave Werden. As a euphonium player, we look forward to those little solos that pop up in band pieces. Now, I've talked to students about this before and cautioned them to prepare the solo in several different ways, because the conductor, of course, is the boss. And the conductor may ask you to play it faster or slower or louder or softer, or to emphasize certain notes, or to apply a particular style to it, a more romantic style, a more bold style, a more aggressive style, things like that. Well, in recent days, I've had to apply that same principle to myself. I was practicing to get ready for an alumni concert with the United States Coast Guard Band. It's their 100th anniversary this year, and they invited us to come back and perform, and I decided I would do that. As I prepared Eric Whitacre's October, which has a small euphonium solo in it, I looked at that solo and decided on a tempo somewhere around 80 to 84. I had heard only one recording of October previously. That was by the US Air Force Band, which is a pretty credible source. The tempo was around this, and it stayed pretty steady. So I practiced it slower and faster than that, and trying to apply different phrasing and so on. The markings in the score for this solo are con moto molto, a lot of motion, cantabile, which means in a singing style, and underneath the solo it's marked dolce freely. So if I'm going to play it in a tempo with a lot of motion, and yet play it freely, I have to sort of cheat a little bit in much music. You have to find a way to make it sound free, even though the tempo is going on beneath you, and you have to more or less stay with it. So this is what I came up with. I practiced faster and slower than that and tried to apply different phrasing to it. You may have noticed I took small phrasing breaks at particular places in here. It seemed like it fit, and it gave it a little more color than just playing straight eighth notes, for example, in that section. In slow motion, so I prepared it very well. I was ready to play it like that, or anyway the conductor asked me to, I thought. However, when I got to the rehearsal, the conductor actually wanted me to play it really freely. When it came to the solo, he was going to conduct the downbeat, but then just hold the baton down low, not really creating a beat, letting me play whatever I wanted to, and then during the band interludes, he would begin conducting again, of course, to keep the band together. And that's how he wanted it. So my first rehearsal, I happened to be recording that, and it sounds like this. That was close to what I wanted, but somebody who was sitting out in the audience area said the solo really didn't come through as a solo. They could hear it, but it didn't sound soloistic. So I needed to play it louder, but I had no practice time available. It was a very busy weekend. So in order to prepare it without any outside practice time, I got to the concert early, got up on stage, put in my Just Brass practice mute so I could practice it with more freedom and with a little more volume, but without disturbing folks around me or trying to draw attention to myself, which of course I wasn't, because I was still experimenting. What I learned, of course, to play louder requires more air, and I was running out, so I had to actually add some phrase marks. But I came to some conclusions about that, and this is how it sounded in the concert. So there you have it. The final result wasn't quite what I wanted, but it was pretty close, certainly in the neighborhood of what I wanted. As one example, I put in a little gliss, which was simply supposed to smooth out a slur, make it sound more like a vocalist or a violinist might do it. But because I was using more air than I typically use when I practice that kind of thing, it came out a little too emphatic. It sounded like a gliss. It shouldn't have. But those things happen. Overall, though, I liked the way it came out. It was mostly what I wanted, and it was a good exercise in applying the advice I give to students, which is to be ready for anything and try to respond in a way the conductor likes when they ask you to do something differently. I hope that's been helpful, and I hope that some of you who've heard my advice and had trouble applying it might enjoy hearing of me suffering or striving a little bit to apply the same advice to myself. Thanks for listening.